When you post as many pictures as Diana, there is always a chance that one that should never be posted slips through the cracks. But Dana had no idea that something was wrong with this photo until her Instagram comments went wild. When she finally took a good hard look at the background, Diana realized what she had done. She would quickly live to regret ever posting this picture. But to better understand why this picture went so viral, a bit of backstory is required. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Diana had always loved traveling from a young age. There was something magical about seeing the world and experiencing new cultures. Her boyfriend, Tommy, felt the same way, and they'd been dating for about 2 years. When people heard about how they first met, they could hardly believe such an incredible tale. Tommy and Diana had met as 2 solo travelers while in India. They'd both signed up for the same day trip and fell head over heels in love with each other after agreeing to travel together for the rest of their trip. But despite the many things they had in common, there was one thing about Diana that didn't always sit right with Tommy. Diana also had a passion for social media and documenting her travels online. She loved sharing pictures of her life on Instagram and seeing what other travelers were experiencing in other parts of the world. Tommy didn't feel the same way about social media, but after he heard the real reason that Diana was posting online, he never complained about it again. As a teenager, Diana had always been unhappy with her looks. Her classmates bullied her and put her down because she wasn't as pretty as her friends. She spent years trying to hide from the world and never would have dreamed of talking about her life online. But then a harrowing event changed her view forever. While traveling with a group in Europe, Diana got into a terrible argument after some of her so-called friends started to make fun of her. She broke off on her own and realized that she liked the freedom of traveling alone. Diana started posting about her life, and meeting Tommy only made her even more confident. But her social media habits were admittedly a little unorthodox. Unlike other travel bloggers, Diana didn't care about getting followers. She liked the freedom of posting whatever she wanted without having to worry about what hordes of followers might have to say. She felt like she could be more genuine and authentic as she documented her travels with Tommy. But there was one worry that always lingered in the back of her mind. Diana worried about becoming too popular on the internet. She didn't want that kind of scrutiny and the pressure to make every picture absolutely perfect. She cared more about genuinely showing their lives and what others could expect while visiting a particular region of the world. Still, there was one aspect of her account that kept people coming back. Diana's followers loved hearing about Tommy. They thought Diana and Tommy's relationship was so romantic after seeing how much they enjoyed each other's company while traveling the world. Plus, since Diana was often the one taking pictures, Tommy made frequent appearances. Slowly, Diana's following started growing, and before long, she had a huge announcement to make. In the past, Diana and Tommy had mostly traveled throughout Europe, Asia, and Africa. They weren't as interested in seeing sights around the United States because they'd both grown up there. However, neither of them had visited Canada, so they planned an extended summer visit to one of the most remote areas in the wilderness. Diana promised to post often, but she soon realized that the trip wouldn't be as simple as it had first seemed. Diana knew that they wouldn't have an internet connection in all of the areas they planned to visit. It was remote, and service was often spotty at best. Diana had no idea that being so isolated could have devastating consequences. For the first week, the trip went perfectly. Diana and Tommy had an amazing time, and there were more than enough opportunities to pose for romantic pictures together. Diana's followers loved the updates and frequently commented to see how the couple was doing. But as the second week was about to start, Diana announced that they would be going even deeper into the wilderness. Diana warned her followers that they were about to leave on a 3-day journey in a particularly sparse area. She didn't anticipate having an internet connection, so she posted her last couple of pictures right before they departed. Tommy and Diana turned off their phones to save the batteries and started on their hike. That one decision would change their lives forever. Halfway through their trip, Diana decided to check whether there was any service available. She'd been offline long enough to miss interacting with her followers. When she powered on her phone, it suddenly started to vibrate out of control. Diana looked closer. Was her phone broken? Or had something happened? Diana quickly realized that she'd managed to find some basic cell phone service. The signal was weak, but she saw that her Instagram had been flooded with comments and likes. What was going on? She showed Tommy, and they urgently went to her Instagram to check. But when Diana hit the button, her page refused to load. Diana and Tommy kept searching for service. Finally, they found a small plateau where they could connect to the internet. But every time Diana tried to log on, her Instagram immediately crashed. There was too much activity for the weak signal to keep up. Her page had never had this much activity. She was starting to get worried. By the time Diana reset her phone and went to log in again, the signal had vanished completely. Tommy tried on his phone to no avail. Diana was nervous about the level of attention her page was getting. Maybe it had a simple explanation, but she'd never heard of an ordinary account receiving this amount of attention for no reason. There hadn't been anything special about the pictures she'd posted. Or so she thought. Diana and Tommy were still at least a day away from civilization. There was nothing they could do to solve the mystery except wait to get back into an area with a good internet connection. Diana tried to enjoy the hike, but she was increasingly worried and preoccupied. After all, Diana had a secret. In the past, Diana hadn't been as careful about what she posted online. Back then, she was still struggling with low self-esteem and didn't know the right way to build her confidence. Some of her older pictures were quite risque and didn't match her current persona at all. Diana explained the situation to Tommy and waited nervously for his reply. Tommy decided that they needed to get back to town immediately to see what was going on. Even though their original route would take another day, he was able to find a shortcut that would allow them to get there even faster by cutting through less scenic areas. Diana didn't care about sacrificing the hike anymore. She just wanted to find out the truth as soon as possible. Diana felt so foolish as they hurried to the closest town. She wondered whether she should have deleted her older photos before starting her travel Instagram. She hadn't intended to become so popular, though. It had just happened. There hadn't been enough time for her to fully consider the consequences. But she figured that at this point, her old pictures were far down her feed, and nobody would really have the time to scroll down and find them. Also, she resigned to the fact that these pictures were still a part of her and of her journey to becoming the woman she is now. She is not proud of who she was. However, she has found herself, found Tommy, and she is trying to recreate her life, a new life away from the old mess. But her focus can't be on this right now. She has to get to a city or at least a place with the internet as fast as possible. The possibility of getting to a city with the internet is low, and they can't even call anybody to come pick them up because of the zero reception. Could this be the end of her perfect social media life? Diana, in her search for a way out, discovered that they traveled with a map of the region. This means they can figure out in which direction they need to walk to get to the nearest highway. After studying the map, they embarked on the walk to the highway. The walk is at least a couple of hours, and the terrain is difficult, but Diana and Tommy are determined and are letting nothing stop them. After the long walk, face scratches, and ripped clothes, Diana and Tommy reached the highway, the first destination before they finally got a good internet connection. The next challenge that faces them is how to get a car to get them to town. Their look is not favoring them, as no car wants to stop to pick them up with the way they look. They even tried to have Diana stand alone for a while Tommy hid in the bushes. As messed up as it is, a lonely girl just gets picked up a lot sooner than couples. Eventually, a pickup truck stops for them and allows them to hop in the back. The truck is heading for a city, and even though it is not the closest city, Tommy and Diana take it at this point. The closer they get to the city, the more Diana's heart starts racing. She checks her phone but realizes the battery has long died. They need a power outlet urgently. The car ride takes 5 long hours, the first time Diana has ever traveled in the back of a truck for so long. Exhausted, they finally arrive and head to the only open place, a bar. At the bar, Diana is allowed to charge her phone as long as they order a drink. Tommy agrees they need the break. Once her phone powers on, Diana is overwhelmed by an explosion of notifications that nearly crash the device. The only way to stop it is to delete the Instagram app. She complies, then accesses her profile through the browser to avoid the overload. Now, finally, she can see what caused the chaos. What she finds is both unexpected and confusing. One of her recent photos has gone viral, not an old one or her entire profile. It's a simple selfie of her and Tommy in nature. Nothing unusual, yet it caused a digital storm. She studies the comments and direct messages. Then it becomes clear. It wasn't the photo itself, but the location. Fans of a famous movie had recognized the background as the setting of a key scene. Until now, that location had been a closely guarded secret by the film's creators. The comments flooded in, fans asking where it was taken. Diana's inbox was full of questions and theories. Apparently, the directors had never revealed the filming site, and her photo unintentionally exposed it. Among the many messages, one stood out. It was from the movie's lead actor. He politely asked her not to disclose the location. Diana replied, asking why it had been kept secret from fans. The response was immediate. The actor explained they feared the spot would become overrun by tourists, ruining the natural beauty of the place. Diana and Tommy didn't entirely agree, but they understood. Ultimately, Diana agreed to keep the secret. She ignored the flood of messages, made her profile private, and blocked the comment section, something she never imagined doing. As expected, interest in her account faded. People realized she wasn't going to reveal anything, and the attention shifted elsewhere. Diana felt a mix of relief and uncertainty. Then came the unexpected gesture. As a thank you, the actor invited Diana and Tommy to the premiere of the upcoming movie. Grateful and excited, they accepted and began planning what to wear. Diana, however, had mixed feelings. Eventually, she deleted the viral photo and its comments. Though tempted to keep it as a memento, she knew it would always invite questions. She preferred having her quiet, low-traffic profile back free from the burden of secrets she never intended to carry.